guys, welcome back to the shop. So today's Labor Day. I got the day off and just been out here in the shop playing, looking at comments and watching some videos for some other guys. And this little camera mount project's been on my mind for a long time, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get started on it and just sharing with you what I'm thinking about doing here. So I've been scrounging some material, and I found a piece here that I think will work. I'll probably end up using this piece. This is aluminum flat bar. I found this little piece of flat bar here, which would be the perfect size for what I need, but that's the only piece that I got. I need something that's going to be longer than this, and I can't find any more. So this one is going to go to the side. So I think I'm going to use this. So what I'll do is kind of show you how these mounts work for the GoPro cameras, for the guys that haven't used them. The GoPros have a pretty nice universal kit there where you can, they make different adapters and things that you can mount the cameras to, and that's how I've always mounted my camera. I used one of those mounts, and I used one of the sticky mounts on this indicator back, this lug back. I put a sticky mount on there, and then that allows the camera to snap in and lock in place. So I'm going to utilize, this is another lug back that I'm not using, it's just a spare one, and this is what I'm going to use to mount to a piece of flat bar that will hold both of the camera and the mic together. So I'll have two separate mounts that I can use, the one I'm using now for just a camera, or this one that I can have both cameras on. This is my other GoPro here. And so you got, as I said, you have these sticky mounts that come with the kits. This is one here, and this is the flat one on the bottom. You can also get them, they have a curve to them for sticking on like helmets. So I do have a couple of these, and I've got this other grab bag here with a few more of the spare parts. See, there's a couple more of the sticky mounts there. I believe it was Mel that sent me this kit here. And so I've got one sticky mount here, and then here's the Rode mic. And I've already got, this is a brand new mount that I haven't ever used yet. You have a couple of the joints that allows you to position the camera how you want to, 90 degrees out. And they're nice, they're tongue and groove joints. They're nice and rigid once you tighten these up. And the mount that's screwed on the back of this mic here, this is the one that Mel had modified for me to put on this mic. So I'm going to use that, and you can see that it's, you know, if I turn this thing straight up like this, and you're looking at it mounted, the camera's kind of off to the side there, which will probably work just fine. But just for aesthetic purposes, you know, I kind of had it centered up at an angle, kind of like so. But I'm just going to use it like this. So what I'll end up doing is I'll have a piece of this, you know, I'll use the end of it here, but what we're going to have is a piece of this flat bar. And I'm going to go ahead and take the other camera. This is the mount that you attach to the bottom of the camera, the mount here. And this is what slides in to the sticky mount. You slide it in, and it actually goes all the way in and snaps in place, but I don't like sticking them all the way in, because these little tabs here, you have to squeeze those and get them to close up and then push it out. And that's one fault that I find with GoPro stuff, is that these little ears, after you squeeze them a bunch of times, they break off. Now you can still use them. This is one here that the little tabs have broken off, but it's a tight fit inside those little mounts there. So this, you know, for around the shop, this works great. So that's why I don't throw that away. So this is what it'll actually look like right here. Is I'll have two of these sticky mounts sort of sitting on this flat bar, centered up, back to back, and that's kind of what it'll look like right there. I'll have the camera and then the mic sitting right behind it, and I'll have it where I can slide the camera in one way, the mic in the other way. All right, so that's how the top of the flat bar will look. And so what I'll do is I'm going to take this lug back off. I believe this is a Sterrett actually, What I'll probably do to make it look a little better, I'm going to go ahead and clamp this in the mill, and I'm going to mill the two sides of this equally to match this. This is 1.5 inch flat bar, 3/8 thick, but I'll mill it so that it kind of centers up on there nice and even. And that's it's real close to the edge on these little mounting holes, the forced mounting screws. So I'm not going to worry about using those. I've got this little box of 632 machine screws, 5/16 in length. So what I'll do is just go ahead and re-drill this this lug back, and I'll just put me 4 of these little 632 screws in there. I'll have this drilled and tapped so where I can put this on there, run the 4 screws in there, and this will be pulled down flat to it. You know, and then on the other side you'd flip it over, and then you got the 2 sticky mounts for the camera and the mic, like that. I think it looks pretty cool myself. So let me go ahead and get started on it. We've got to do some milling. We'll put this in the vise and we'll go ahead and mill it, get centered up on it, drill us 4 little holes in it, and then we'll cut us a piece of flat bar, do the drilling and tapping. I'll probably go ahead and scribe me a line and dress some radiuses on the end of this to kind of make it look good too. So let's get a camera mount made up. This is the other mount that I use. I usually hang this like so on my fan up here and have that mic hanging down right there. That's a nice clamp that GoPro makes there too. Okay. Okay, I got me 2 little pieces of 3/16 tool bits. I'm going to lay up here on the jaws. These should just be kind of like parallel, so I can just sit this mount in here like that. Get me away from the jaws. Tighten up on that lug. Alright, and we'll pull these out. And let me find the cutter. Okay, let's do some milling. Alright, so this is a 2-inch diameter. We're going to take it down to 1.5 inches, so I just got to touch off and take a 1/4 off each side. No real critical measurements here, so I'm just going to kind of, you know, just touch the side and remove a 1/4 inch. I've already got my end mill set. I just come down and touched the jaw without it running and then backed off a little bit, locked it, so we know we're clearing the jaw now. Alright. Go 250. Alright, now what we could do is just step it over the right amount, 1.5 inches plus the diameter of the end mill, but as I said, it's not that critical. I'm just going to do the same thing. Just kind of center up on it here, come up and just touch it. Alright, 250. Okay, that looked a nice finish. Alright, we'll get a... Now I'll find the center. I'm going to go ahead and use an edge finder and see how close I am. Not really a big deal here. Yeah, it was a few thousandths under 2 inch. So we're at 1 inch 480 right there. We'll find the edge. So half of that would be 3/4 plus 1/4 for the edge finder, so that's 1 inch. But since we're 20 thousandths undersized now, we'll take 10 thousandths off of that. So we'll move 990 thousandths. Four, 6, 8, 9, 90. I'm going to go ahead and set a 0. I'm going to step off a hole pattern using these dials. Alright, so we're centered on Y. Okay, we'll do about the same thing there. So that's 2 inch. So that'd be, I'll have to step over 1.25 inches. Minus another 10 thousandths. We'll step it over 1 inch, 240. And 240. Zero set there. Okay, that should be our center point, and that looks good. So what I decided to do was make a 1x1 hole pattern. What we'll have is a 1 inch pattern that way, you know, each direction. So a 1 inch square with 4 holes there. So we'll be moving 1/2 inch each way. All right. Let's let me get a drill chuck set up. All right, we go ahead and come to the first hole. So I've got both of my dials set to 0, and I'm moving the table this way. So I'm going to continue on a 1/2 inch, and the same thing on this one. We'll move it over to this corner here. 2, 4. All right, there's 500 thousandths. All right, Y is 2, 4, 500. And once we move it, I'll show you how I do this to eliminate the backlash here. So there's where our hole will be, and just gonna give it a little spot there. I'm using a number 27 drill. Let me see. Using a number 26 drill, a few thousandths over the body size of a number 6 screw. And no need to chamfer that. It left a good hole there. Okay, so let me show you what I'm going to do here. Okay, so I've got to eliminate the backlash, and an easy way to do this without having your digital readout, you got the table locked, and what I do is just go the other way, just nice and easy. I don't give it any pressure, because once you unlock that, it'll move it if you move it too far. All right, so there's where the backlash is eliminated. So I'll go ahead and reset my 0 there, and we're going to move it 1 inch. So I'm going to unlock the table and then go ahead and dial it in. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, and when we go back to the other side, we're going to do the same thing. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and pull the handle back, nice and easy. All right, right about there. I'm going to go ahead and set the 0. So we'll be ready to move back the other way. I'm going to go ahead and do this one same way. This side's really, the backlash on the table is really nice. I only got 8 thousandths here. Set a 0, unlock the table. And actually, I got to drill the hole first before I move it. I was getting ahead of myself. Just be careful not to come through and touch that vise jaw. Okay, already eliminated backlash. We're ready to move. All right, that's 1 inch. Repeat. Okay, all right, I'm gonna move the table towards me. Already eliminated backlash on 0. Okay. So I had said that I got them set at 1 inch. And it looks like it's right on it there. All right, it's last hole. I guess I should get one of my little Albright keyless chucks out for this stuff. There's our 4-hole pattern. Just got to do a little filing, deburr it, and this piece is ready. All right, now I'm going to move on to the piece of aluminum flat bar. I did a little bit of dressing on the belt sander. That bluing that was on there is really stuck bad. But what I'm going to do, I got some parallels in here already, and set this in here. What I'd like to do is we're going to go ahead and put a little fly cut just on the top side where the sticky mounts are going to go, just to kind of make a nice flat clean surface for it. I've got a fly cutter already set up with a high-speed radius nose tool, and I'm going to have to move it out. I don't think I got it quite wide enough. Okay, ready to do a little fly cut in there. I had to move the tool out just a little bit, so go ahead and get her close there. Let's see what 5/1000 looks like. I think that'll clean it up. Okay, I'm going to center up on this piece of flat bar, and I'm not even worried about using an edge finder on this. What I'm going to do is use my hook scale and this center point that Stan had made for me. So I cut the piece 5 inches long, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball 2.5 inches here on the scale. Actually, just a little bit shy of 5 inches, so I'm just going to move over about a 32nd right there. I'm sorry, a 64th. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing to this side here. We're 1.5 inches, so I'm just going to line it up on the 3/4 mark. I know you can't really see this from that side, but I can. It's got that point laid against the scale like this, and I just lay that point right up against the scale there and line it up on the line. So all right, so that'll be our center point there, 3/4 and 2.5. And I'm going to just use the same technique that I had already showed you on drilling the hole pattern. You know, you could lay this out and punch it and that'll work fine. I'm just going to go ahead and use the dials this time on the mill. So let me get one set real quick. It's a 1/2 inch. All right, that'll be our first hole pattern there. Let's see. I might have to take those parallels out of here or move it. Here's our piece. Okay, that looks about right. Yeah. All right. So I'm coming from this side here, so I don't have to flip it over. And the main thing is that I'm decided to I'm just going to drill the hole all the way through, so I can just power tap this and make it a quick job. Not have to worry about a blind hole. It's not going to hurt anything to see those holes go through. Using the drill size for a 632. Chamfer there. Now I've got a 2 flute spiral point 632 tap. I got to get some make sure it's running true. What I want to use, I guess I'll just get some cutting oil. Okay. That's it. That did good. I'll just come back after the job. I'll use my little hand deburr tool probably and just deburr those, or I can find another smaller countersink tool. So I won't show you all these. I'm going to go ahead and move to the other side. Eliminate my backlash here. Set a 0. Unlock the table. Alright, and this will be our second hole here. What I was going to point out, these small taps like this, there has been times that I've actually stripped the threads trying to power tap, so I usually keep just a little bit of pressure on the quill handle as it's coming through like this, just so that the spring pressure doesn't try to pull on it. And when I reverse, I just kind of keep my finger on it a little bit. The 6 isn't too bad, but I've tried to power tap some smaller holes in this before, and the spring pressure of the quill actually was trying to pull the threads out. Just coming back here and chamfering the other side. Okay. All right, there we go. Let's go see if it fits. Looks like they all line up. Okay. I got that deburred. Ready to bolt it together. Got these new steric screwdrivers I've never even used before. I've had for a while. Yep. Come on, start. There you go. Look at that, they all fit. Okay. I'll take it back off. I'm going to do a little bit of dressing. So, clean that aluminum up just a little bit more on the other sides. So, all right, there we go. There's so we'll have a sticky mount there. And another one here on the front side. There's one more thing I was thinking about whenever I was making this. We might try finding a piece of thin rubber of some sort and cutting basically like a little gasket that can go underneath this, that will maybe help keep some of the machine noise from coming all the way up through everything into the cameras. I've had a lot of guys mention that before, but one of the things about it is, you know, on the bottom of these sticky mounts, you gotta, that's kind of like a foam pad. I mean, it's kind of hard, but it is flexible, and I was hoping that would kind of eliminate some of the resonance coming through there. So we may come back and improve on that later at another time. So let me I want to dress the ends here. Probably just put a I'll just dress the corners, just put a little radius on all 4 corners there, and then we'll come back and attach our new sticky mounts to it. Alright, I'm ready to put these sticky mounts on here. I just went over to the belt sander and just kind of broke the corners, just to give it a little radius there. And I've been playing with the spacing on this, and I found that 5/16 from the end covers up the tapped holes. So I'm just going to try to equally space them 5/16 from each side and get it squared up on there. So first thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of my fast drying solvent and go ahead and make sure my fingertips are clean. It's basically like alcohol. And I'm going to clean the surface of this plate real good. And this stuff dries instantly. Okay. Go ahead and get the backing off of this 3M VHB, it's called. kind of need a little reference line on here, but I didn't want to put any more Sharpie or anything on it. So what I'm going to do is just kind of get squared up on here. Once you stick them, they're there. All right, there's 5/16. And it looks nice and even with the plate. All right, there's the first one right there. Whatever that stuff is that they use at 3M, man, it's some good stuff. That thing ain't coming off there unless you dig it off with some tools or something. Okay, there's the first one. Go ahead and clean that side again. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. That side looks a little bit greasy, just that's a little bit of WD-40. I found that it helps those joints sliding in and out of there. Use a little bit of lube. Same thing, I want to kind of center it up. Five/16 from the end, centered on the plate, parallel. There it is. All right. Okay, those are both on there. And they look pretty straight and even. What do you think? Okay. So now we'll go ahead with our indicator lug back. Alright, I think we about got us a mount ready to use. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like. Well, I need to go ahead and mount it on something before I put the camera on there so it's not all laying off to the side. So we'll be right back. Okay, I went ahead and got my other Noga. This is the one I usually keep my stared indicator on, but we're going to use this to mock everything up. I've got my little 3/8 stub there that I use, and we'll go ahead and just lock her on there. Okay. There we go. Looking pretty good. I'll go ahead and use my other camera here. I'm going to snap it in place, like so. And got the Rode mic. I'm going to come in on the other side and snap it in, just like so. And we can adjust this a little bit for looks and get it kind of lined up with the world. Well, I think that's about all she wrote. What do you think? I actually kind of like this, man. It sort of has a heavy-duty industrial look to it, man. Pretty neat. It's a heck of a new filming rig there. All right, so we've got one other thing that we have to deal with, and that is the this is the cord here that I have to use for the mic. One end plugs into the back of the mic here like that, and then this adapter goes into the side of the camera. But with this case here, you can't use that. The frame mount, which is what this camera's mounted on, they have the opening in the side for the little mini USB port, so you can stick it in there like that. But just for just so we kind of see what it looks like, it'll be about like that there. I was wondering if I'm going to have to make some kind of just some kind of little attachment to kind of keep the cord in place, but I don't know if I'll have to or not. We'll just find out. I may end up taking some of the zip ties that Ray gave me, and we might just zip tie the cord up kind of close and tight, keep it kind of tucked in there. So we'll find out about that. We'll see about that later. I've got to get this camera mounted on here and see how it does using the frame mount. All right, guys, well, I think that's going to be about it. Make sure you got a good shot of that. So this will be the new camera mount, and I'll start testing it out and see how it works, because this will usually be mounted right over here whenever I'm doing my filming. I think it looks pretty good though. All right, we can finally start making use of that Rode mic. All right, guys, well, that's about it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching as always. We'll see you on the next job, okay? Hey, I got to give it one test, right? Hopefully this the sound will work pretty good with that mic mounted to it like that. We'll see.